Okay guys, so in the last video we have beaten the main campaign for Marvel's Avengers, and of course after beating the game there's a lot of post end game mission to do. So as you can see here, we still got some stuff to do, but for the most part I think it's just going to be mostly side mission stuff here and there. So probably not going to be covering this, not for a long time anyways. I might cover the Shields mission maybe, but I'm not sure though, because like I said, most of this stuff is just for the most part side mission stuff related. So like I said, we might come back and play this game. I'm not entirely sure, but other than that, let's talk about the game Marvel's Avengers and what I like about it, what I didn't like about it. And let's start with the good things about this game that I do like. I do like the campaign, specifically the campaign campaign and the story. I think is pretty decent. I think is enough to make it completely different from the MCU. And I also like the different direction to going on with the Avengers too. How they were heroes one day, and then after a big event, now they're pretty much hunted fugitive at this point now. So I do kind of like that premise, and I actually do like Kamala Khan's character too. Although there's a few cringy things she does in the game that I kind of don't agree. But overall, I think Kamala Khan is a likable character, also a very fun character to play as too. Matter of fact. But I think the story and the campaign is more than enough, for you to try this game out at least, and just to play the game to see how the story unfolds. And I think it does a decent job, to say the least. It's not nothing groundbreaking though. It's probably not as good as the Avengers, because we all remember the Avengers movie was freaking amazing. This doesn't really bring to that next level, but at least it's different than the MCU at least. And like I said, for the most part, the campaign and the story is pretty good. It's pretty decent. I think it's worth it. I think it's definitely worth playing the game alone for just a single player and the campaign alone. And let's talk about some of the characters designed in this game as well. I like I said, what I said before. Kamala Khan she's a likable character and also a very fun character to play as well. If you think of Kratos from God of War, when he brings out that whip blade, she kind of plays just like Kratos from God of War. She has a like when you do her light combo attack, it kind of does like a sweep. It's like a shotgun sweep. Like she most of the time she keeps the enemy from the distance. That's what I like about playing as Kamala Khan, because her attacks keep the enemies away from her, and on top of that, it does a lot of damage. And if you give her like legendary gear and upgrade her power, she becomes even more deadly, especially when you use her high fire abilities. Her high fire ability is probably the most overpowered thing in this entire game, in a good way, because it's so powerful, it's so strong. Like you could literally sweep out 10 enemies at once with one high five, and it's just absolutely devastating. Especially you get the abilities to get the double high five too. If you can get that, the enemies are definitely going to be in a world of hurt. That's for damn sure. I don't know. I just like her gameplay design, like the combat. For her specifically, just feels right. Like it's nothing wrong about it. Like especially when it comes to the parkour stuff, you could do like the far jump and then use her long, stretchy arm to like grab a tree branch and go to another area. Overall, I think she's definitely one of the most fun characters to play as in this entire game so far. And the second character I like to play the most in this game is Black Widow. Black Widow, despite her lower health pool, she mixes it up with the agility and the speed, the agility and her speed, and she's mostly melee focused too. So that's why I kind of like playing as Black Widow. She does a lot of damage, especially when you get all her abilities upgraded and the right equipment and weapons and abilities. She could definitely be a force to be reckoned with, especially when you upgrade her, the shock bolts, the power surge too, and the veil shadows. If you get all those abilities upgraded, ooh man, she is absolutely disgusting, and her combos on her melee attacks are excellent too. There's a lot of combos, a lot of hits, and a lot of stun too for most of this comic too. So that's why I kind of like playing as Black Widow too. And then on top of that, she's also a very good range character to play as too. Her guns is, for the most part, is okay. It's good taking out turrets and flying enemies, but once you get the high caliber ability, it's pretty much she's unstoppable. Like pretty much high caliber bullets in this game. You get it for Black Widow. Does more damage. It does shoot a bit. It does shoot a lot slower, and you get less rounds. So keep that in mind. But if you can land those shots, those high caliber bullets will absolutely wreck almost anything that gets in your way. Absolutely useful too for doing objectives and war zone missions, like taking out power cells from a distance, or some other things where you don't have to get up and close and personal, where you could just equip the high caliber bullets and just take it out. And overall, she plays really nice. She's, like I said, she's very fast. She's also mobile too. And I don't know, she just plays really good. And compared to any other melee-based characters, she's probably one of the best, if not better than Kamala Khan. The only downside about Black Widow is that she is the weakest of all the other heroes, so she does tend to die a lot faster. So pretty much, if you play as Black Widow, you gotta make sure you don't get too much, don't get into the thick of the fight as much, because there'll be times enemies will throw everything at you and Black Widow will just die like that. So keep that in mind. I will highly recommend you deal with just the weaker enemies playing as Black Widow. You could actually fight stronger enemies. You just gotta be fast with that, with the dodge mechanic in this game. You gotta be pretty fast with her, because there'll be some enemies that'll be going non-stop after you. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You're gonna have to probably be doing a lot of dodge, a lot of parries, just to stay alive as Black Widow, because like I said, she's the most squishiest of all the characters in this game. And the other character I do like after Black Widow is Iron Man. I think Iron Man is pretty cool too. I think he's also pretty high tier in terms of the range type characters too. You got his repulsor cannons, you got his lasers, and you even got the rockets. I haven't really bought any points on rockets. I did got the laser. I think the laser was kind of but the good thing about lasers is that it does take less energy compared to repulsor cannons and rockets. And that's what I like about Iron Man, is that he's more of a ranged character, and he has the ability to fly as well. And it's fucking Iron Man. Iron Man is just badass when you play as him. His melee combat is not really the best. He does have some basic move, but he mostly relies on his repulsor cannons. So my advice for when you're playing as Iron Man, keep him as a ranged character, but you also got to keep in mind that every time you use that repulsor cannon or any lasers or rockets, it will drain his energy meter. So keep that in mind. In order to get that, it back, you got to do some melee combat to get that back, which it's not that hard. You just got to land a few hits, and then you'll be able to shoot your repulsor cannons in no time. But I think Iron Man is pretty cool. I think Iron Man is definitely one of the better characters to play in terms of the flying characters and range type characters. I think the huge advantage that Iron Man has is that he can fly, and he also has the mobility and the agility as well. So he's pretty fast when he's in flight mode too. Just that he does not really make it up with the melee. So best to keep Hulk or Black Widow with you, just in case things get a bit too heavy or or a little bit too personal, for Iron Man. So Iron Man's pretty cool. He's not too bad. It's Iron Man, so you can't say no to playing as Iron Man. And let's see. So we already talked about the story, how I like about it, the characters. I thought was pretty cool. I do like the fact that they did try to add some villains, iconic villains into the story too. You got Abomination. They even got the inclusion of MODOK as well. I think that's just a little bit of a big surprise that we even got MODOK as the main villain in this game too. So it's just pretty cool. And of course, at the very end too, we even got a Kree Sentry, which kind of looks like a Sentinel in my opinion. But like I said, I'm not really familiar with comics, DC comics and Marvel, so I don't know if that's how a Kree Sentry looks like that, but he looks more like a Sentinel. You guys remember Sentinels from the X-Men series? They kind of look almost the same too. But you know, it looks pretty cool when I saw the Kree Central. I was like, dude, that looks cool. Especially when Kamala Khan becomes a Titan. Essentially, we have an all-out giant monster battle, essentially at San Francisco Bay, which I thought was a pretty cool moment, in my opinion. But I do like the fact that there is a lot of drama and a lot of character interactions, especially that after when you try to assemble the Avengers, you got Tony Stark pretty much at Bruce Banner's throat because Bruce Banner is pretty much kind of responsible for bringing down the whole Avengers essentially, and Shield as well as Shield as well. Shield and Avengers pretty much they became pretty much hunted fugitive at this point, and AIM became the new hero. Like I said, I think the premise of the story overall was pretty good. That was pretty interesting. I did like the new take on it as well. Like I said, the villains were, as I said, are pretty suffice, but most of them are kind of not memorable, especially Taskmaster and Abomination. You only get to see them once in the story, in the main story. That's it. You're mostly going to see, Monica and MODOK as the main villain, and I think Monica also did a pretty I think it was a pretty good overall, sidekick to MODOK as well, and throughout the whole game. And now she's pretty much the main villain now after being in the game. So the ending was kind of, it kind of ended a little bit too abruptly, considering that we got more missions to do. So this is technically not the end of the main game yet. This is mostly just main mission stuff, side mission stuff we're doing now at the moment. But it's basically it's not the end of the game yet. But I'm pretty sure once we do all this, there's pretty much nothing left to do besides these daily missions. So I don't know. And I think we talk about a lot of the goods in this game. I also forgot to mention the animations too for most of these characters are pretty good. They're not too bad, not too crazy. I do like the animation for Kamala Khan, especially when she starts swinging her stretch arm and her fists are going everywhere, going super size mode. Overall, I think the animations is done well, although there is a lot of technical issues that which I will cover in the bads in just a minute. But overall, though, I think like I said, the gameplay is good. I said the game plays good. The story and the campaign is good. The characters are pretty good as well. And overall, it's a pretty enjoyable game. It can be frustrating, but overall, it is an enjoyable game. It is a fun game. Highly recommend you play this game in co-op, because this game is definitely designed for co-op, although you could play in single player. But highly recommend you play this game with a friend or just random people online. And with that being said, let's talk about what I didn't like about this game. First note, campaign, absolutely short. It's like 6 to 12 hours to 12 hours long, depending how fast you go through. Me, I decided to do most of the side missions, so it took me roughly 12 plus hours to beat the game, but you could probably beat it in less than an hour. Less than 12 hours, I'm pretty sure, if you rush through the game. But I think the game was ended a little bit too short, in my personal opinion. I think it could have gone more like, right now, what we're doing right now, they could have gone a lot more. But clearly, as you can see, this game is definitely unfinished and unpolished. Because, like I said, I think they did intend on adding more stuff at the end. But I think this game was definitely rushed by a long shot. Because I played the beta. The beta wasn't really good, in my personal opinion. It ran like shit. It didn't look that great, and I don't know. It didn't play well, especially for people with low-end computers. They were not able to run this game at all. Like, they'll just get crashes, network crashes, and all that stuff. And let's talk about the graphics in this game. I think for most of the cutscenes, it looks good. But when you get to in-game stuff, that's when the game kind of looks a bit... It starting to look a bit average and kind of bland, in my opinion. And I don't know if that is the case, but this is supposed to be, listed as next-gen. And I don't really see the next-gen part to it. Like, the graphics overall just doesn't really look that great, in my personal opinion. Like, some areas, it does look good. But for some areas, it just looks pretty generic, pretty bland. It's like... they could have done better with the graphics department. I don't know. It's my personal opinion, but I think they could have done better with the graphics. The graphic just looks more like a PS3, Xbox 360 game, in my opinion. Definitely not worth the next gen title for Xbox One and PS4 for sure. And let's talk about my most hated thing, my most criticism thing in this game is the mission design and the enemy design. For the most part, for most of the side missions, like especially the Warzone missions, you're going to be going to the same area more than twice or 3 times, but with different objectives. So there's really not much variety of the environments, of the missions that you're going to be pretty much recognized almost instantly by the time the mission starts. It's going to be very recognizable, but like I said, except with different objectives. But the thing about it, the thing here is that most of this mission objective, you have already done this in the campaign already, but now you gotta do it again now in the side mission. So what the hell? What gives? What gives Crystal Dynamics? You can't think of any other innovative ideas on how to make this side missions more interesting? Probably not. Like I said, it's half-assed. I think they could have done a much better job in implementing the Warzone mission, because in my personal opinion, the Warzone missions are kind of boring. And the mission makes you go point here, and then they put all this gear drop throughout the whole level too, like across the whole fucking map too. So that makes it even more frustrating to traverse the whole environment, because you gotta go to that area and that area. It's just, I don't know. The game kind of drives me pretty insane, to the point I'll be doing, for example, a global offensive mission, then I'll be doing the same shit I did in the last campaign mission. Most of this Warzone mission can get pretty repetitive pretty quickly, and you could definitely see it once you get half through the game of the main story. And the enemy design, for the most part, you're all going to be finding the same enemies. You're just going to be finding aims. Like I say, you only see Abomination once, Taskmaster once, and that's it. I was hoping Taskmaster and Abomination will play a bigger role in the story, but they'll only appear in a few cutscenes, and that's it. You never see them again. I was like, what the hell? What's going on? We only get to see Abomination twice in the cutscene, and that was it. We don't get to see him ever again. The only way to see Abomination is to find him again and probably Hulk's side mission or the villain sector mission, as well as Taskmaster. Taskmaster just sort of disappeared completely. So what the hell? What gives, game? What the hell? What's up with this shitty repeatable Warzone missions? Like, they gotta think of something outside the box and want to keep people entertained and keep this game playing longer. And here's another thing I want to talk about: the live services game has too. It's absolutely shit. Like, just to get all the stuff right here, as you can see here, this battle pass system that they set up, this will take you forever to get, and this is just daily and weekly. You gotta wait 2 days and a day for all this stuff to reset, and that's unacceptable. And look at this, you can also skip ahead too, and that costs 3,000, almost 4,000. So let's see how much that costs. Look at that. 2,000 is not enough, and this is the microtransaction stuff comes in play, and this shit right here costs real money. So it costs almost 4,000. So you literally gonna have to spend 5,000 credits, which is probably gonna be $40-something, and I know this is gonna be $100 for sure, plus 3,000 credits. So like, I don't know, man. It's so scummy to the point they had to lock so many cosmetic stuff in a paywall. You don't have to pay for it, but you gotta grind all this shit out. It's gonna take you too long to get this, and I have no idea if any of this stuff is gonna reset on that. I highly doubt it, because it's just a live service game, so most likely this whole thing is gonna be changed once they get to the next season, or God knows what the hell is up with this game. But yeah, it would take too long to ever get to level 40. And of course, you gotta spend roughly $40 to $50 just to skip ahead of all this tier for each character. Each character, not just Hulk, but each character. And that's a bit scummy in my personal opinion. Most of the skins don't even look that great. Like, let's check Hulk's. Like I said, look at this. Hulk doesn't really get too many selection. The only cosmetics I actually like is actually his classic outfit right here. That's the only one I like. And of course, the Just Joe. I don't know why, but I kind of like Hulk in the suit. But obviously, all this shit is locked behind, battle pass, money, and of course, by reaching level 50. And I'm really level 9 with Hulk, and so I can't imagine the amount of grind you gotta do in this game. And I can already see this game is gonna be really, really grinding, and that's not my type of thing. I don't like those type of games where you gotta grind so much just to unlock certain gear set or certain stuff. It's just not my cup of tea, in my opinion, and that's why I kind of stay away from this live services game, because it's just like there's only very few games that does live service right. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is one of the perfect, not really perfect, but it's one of the few games that does live service, right. And then you got Marvel's Avengers and Anthem and Battlefield 5, failing in delivering all that promised content in the future. So, like I said, I don't think Avengers not gonna die off like Avengers, not Avengers, like Anthem and Battlefield 5, but we'll see how it goes once they release more DLC. Because, like I said, I don't see myself playing this game any longer, and I'm just gonna end it here for now because I'm not gonna do all the side mission stuff just to see some 5-minute cutscenes. I will probably do this stuff when they release more DLC characters like Hawkeye, Black Panther, and God knows who else is gonna come in and play. So I don't know. But like I said, you're gonna be finding most of the same enemies, and I just like the fact that the Avengers are supposed to be very powerful, right? But the way they're portraying this game, they're very weak. And I don't know why that is the case. Like, I'm going to put Hulk as a perfect example. Hulk is probably one of the most underwhelming characters to play in this game. You think Hulk is going to be, Hulk smash and destroy shit? Hulk is the direct opposite in this game. He's actually one of the weakest characters to play in this game. And I honestly don't like playing this Hulk as much because Hulk is just so underwhelming. Underwhelming is just that what's the whole point playing Hulk when I could play as Black Widow, max out her legendary gear, and she does just as much as damage as Hulk. The only thing Hulk has is the shock factor and the stun from his attack. That's the only big advantage she has, but after that, Hulk is pretty much useless. In my opinion, like I said, he's just underwhelming, and he's just not Hulk. It's not Hulk, guys. If Hulk can get wrecked by a robot with a shield and he can't break the shield of that robot, it's not Hulk, guys. I'm sorry, I can't say it. Hulk is just not Hulk. And let's talk about Dory. I think Dory is one of the worst characters in this entire game, and Dory is just not a good character to play as. He's kind of like Iron Man. He has the same flight system like Iron Man, but Dory is just so underwhelming. Most of his attack is just throwing the hammer. That's it, and he doesn't really have too much combos you can pull off too, like other characters does, like Camilla, Captain America, and Black Widow. Dory is just very basic when it comes to his stuff. I think he's more of a support character, like he's used a lot of lightning and all that stuff, but I don't know. I think Dory is definitely one of the worst characters in this game, design wise. Like, his gameplay design is just not very exciting, very bland, and like I said, he has no combos to pull off. So what's the whole point playing this game? You're not gonna enjoy it. So I'm not gonna. So you don't expect me to play Dory in the future, because like I said, Dory is one of the worst characters to have. Don't want Dory in my team too, because he's also the weakest in my game too. So I don't know. Even you give him the best legendary gear and stuff and give him upgrades, I don't see Dory playing a very viable role. Maybe as an AI he will, but for me personally, when I play as him, I don't really like playing as Dory. But you guys might have different opinions, but Dory, I don't really care as much. Dory's just very underwhelming as well. And I like the fact that some enemies are more OP than others, like the range enemies specifically. The range enemies are ridiculously powerful. They shouldn't be too powerful to the point they could two-shot you with just 2 blaster shots, while you got the melee guys that can, takes like more than 10 hits to kill you. But for the range guy, all it takes 2 shots, and that's it. And there's nothing you can do. And I don't know, some of the, like I said, too much of the same enemies you fight and too much of the same bullshit enemy you go up against, like the ranged enemies, to the point they're so strong, you know, with their projectiles. Like, what's the whole point having the vengeance when they can't even withstand a blaster shots? I don't know. Just the whole enemy and the mission design of this game is it's kind of garbage. And then let's talk about the my biggest criticism in this game. The technical aspect of it, how unoptimized this piece of garbage of a game is. The game can be stable at some areas, but when the action kicks in, the game stutters and the frame drop like hard. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, my frame will drop literally to 15 to 20 frames for no reason. Like, especially that one last part you guys saw where I'm at the tower, in the main mission when I'm playing as Cap. The frame would just keep stuttering and keep stuttering for no reason when I was fighting that phase robot, and I don't know why I was freaking, lagging like crap, but there's nothing I could do. Like, there's nothing I could do because this game is just unoptimized. It doesn't run well. If you have a high-end system, this game will not run well. And although technically the biggest patch they released, supposed to fix all this stuff, it didn't really do much. Like, the game still lags like shit. And let's talk about the crashes. The fucking crashes is probably the most frustrating thing you ever going to experience in this game. Because I have did at least 3 missions in this game, and the game will either crash mid-mission or it will crash before the little mission complete pop will pop out. Like, this game has a lot of issues. There's a lot of crazy bugs going on in this game. And there's also a few moments where I went through the freaking universe too. I went through the universe, and when I do Captain America's bouncy shield ability, I end up hitting the wall inside the building instead of hitting the enemies because I got clipped to the world, and now I got stuck in there. So this game needs a lot of fixing for sure. Like, they need to iron out the optimization, they need to iron out the crashes, and for what I heard, the netcode too for the multiplayer is pretty garbage too. But I don't know because I haven't played multiplayer. But I heard it was bad. So if freaking multiplayer is going to be bad too, they gotta fix that shit up pronto. And I heard that this game is actually dying too. There's not many people playing this game, so finding a good match, good luck doing matchmaking, because not many people are gonna stick around with this game any longer. And I think Crystal Dynamics gotta do something fast before this game dies up, because, like I said, I enjoy this game. I actually do like this game. I do want it to succeed, but from the amount of content and the amount of bullshit I gotta deal with the technical stuff, I just can't. I don't see myself playing this game any longer. Like I said, this might be the very end of the whole series. I might come back to play DLC character, but in the meantime, if you guys want to see what happens with this mission chain, I suggest you find another YouTuber who has beaten this game completely, because I'm not gonna do all this business stuff. It's not happening. So yeah, Avengers, Marvel's Avengers, my personal overall thought on this game, it's alright. It's not a bad game, but it's not a good game either. And I would highly suggest you guys get this game when it's on sale. Don't spend $60. Do not spend on the deluxe edition an extra $20 just for an extra skin pack and nameplate, which is like an extra $10 to $20. Get this game when it's on sale. It is not worth the $60, especially with the problems this game is having on the PC right now. I'm not sure if the consoles are having the same issues, but I know the PC versions for this game is absolutely fuck. So if you're going to get this on PC, avoid it for now until this game is fully patched up and fully fixed up, and to add more content to fix all the ongoing issues in this game. But overall, I'm not hating on this game. I think this game definitely has a lot of potential. And like I said, I do enjoy this game. I actually do like this game. But it has a lot of problems that Crystal Dynamics definitely need to iron out. But yeah, guys, so that's going to be it for the Avengers review. And I got nothing much more to say about it other than that it's a pretty average game. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I could have given it a 7 out of 10, but like I said, a lot of villains and characters left out from the main story after doing like 1 and 2 missions. Kind of big bummer. The technical issues that this game has too, as well as the mission and the mission design and the shitty OP range enemies one-shotting you too on top of that. So like I said, I don't see myself playing this game any longer. But I will probably come back to it in the far future when they release more content and they fix this game up, because like I said, I don't want to cover this game any longer because we got tons of other big games coming up pretty soon, and I kind of want to be in the party before I had to complete this shit. So at least the main game is done, but of course it's not completely done. But like I said, if you guys want to see the conclusion, I suggest you guys check out YouTubers who beat in it, or you could wait a year or maybe longer for me to come back to the game and pretty much finish up what I started essentially. But yeah, 6 out of 10 is my final rating on this game. So average fighting game with the Marvel's license on it, Avengers license on it. So okay game, not worth the $60. What I also kind of wish that another thing I want to mention is that I kind of wish they left the original likeness of the Marvel characters, for the Avengers character. Because you look at these guys, who the hell are these guys? You don't recognize them, but you see, for example, Chris Evans as Captain America or Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. You're like, oh, that's Black Widow. Oh, that's Bruce Banner. Oh, that's Robert Downey Jr. Oh, that's Tony Stark. But unfortunately, they decided to make completely original faces, which is fine. It is fair because I'm pretty sure it's gonna cost a lot of money to use the actual likeness of the original Avengers actors. But I kind of wish they kind of make it look more like it rather than a direct copy. But it's my personal opinion. I think they could have done that, but who knows? Maybe they'll release that in the DLC, like a future DLC. Who freaking knows? I don't know. But I've been ranting on for too long. It's already been half an hour now. Like I said, get this when it's on sale. It's not worth the $60. But hey, if you like playing games with your friends, knock yourself out. Here's Marvel's Avengers. But yeah, guys, that's going to be the end of this review for Marvel's Avengers. And if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button. You guys didn't hit the dislike button. It's all up to you. And let me know in the comments down below of what's your thoughts on Marvel's Avengers. Do you guys love it, or do you guys hated it, or you guys got some other stuff you want to point out, or stuff that I miss when I'm doing a whole review on this game? Leave a comment down below and I'll check them out. And yeah, guys, so this might be possibly the end of the Avengers series. If so, I hope you guys enjoy the series, and if not, well, stay tuned for some more Avengers content in the far future. But other than that, guys, until then, I will see you in the next one. Peace.